I couldn't believe it, but there are 10 incredible tricks you can do with panty liners. And when you see why you should stick a panty liner to your fly swatter, your mop, under your foot, or even in your car, you'll be amazed. But first, let me show you how you can prevent sweat stains under your t-shirts. Because if this happens to you regularly, all you have to do is stick a panty liner under each armpit directly into your t-shirt. When you put it back on, the pad will simply soak up all the sweat and you will have far fewer sweat stains to contend with. But the trick with the panty liner in your shoe is just as ingenious. All you have to do is cut off the back end of the panty liner because that's all we need for this trick. Now grab your shoe and stick one of these pieces into each shoe. Simply stick it into the back of the heel so that it is not directly visible from the outside. Of course, you can also apply this to high-heeled shoes, as women in particular benefit from this trick. High-heeled shoes are usually very strong at the heel, which means that you get blisters more quickly when you walk in them. But thanks to the panty liner, you can prevent exactly that. Just try it out when you have new shoes and you'll never have a problem with blisters again. For the next trick, we need to prepare the panty liner a little. There are 5 different ways to do this. You can either take an essential oil of your choice and put a few drops of it on the panty liner. You could also simply use some baby oil, or your favorite perfume for example. Just put a few spritzes directly onto the panty liner. Another thing you could do is use a room fragrance. Here too you just need to add a few spritzes. Mouthwash is also perfect. Simply press the bottle onto the panty liner a few times, as you can see here, so that you have some of the mouthwash on it. Now you can cut the panty liner into several pieces so that you end up with lots of little pieces that are all sprayed with a fragrance of your choice. Now there are an incredible number of places where you can place the whole thing. I'll show you my top 7 here, because thanks to the adhesive that we have on the back here, all you have to do is peel off this foil and you can stick the panty liner anywhere. Under your table, for example. But you can also stick it next to or behind your radiator. Also on the stairs, somewhere where you can't see them directly, you can also stick them in flower pots. The aim is always to stick it somewhere where nobody can see it directly, so that only you know where it is stuck. This also applies in the bathroom, for example, simply behind or under your toilet. The garbage can is also a perfect place. Here, for example, you can simply stick it under the lid. The advantage is that it always smells nice and fresh wherever you stick it. That's why it's also wonderful to use in the car. Just stick it somewhere where nobody can see it and it will smell good for a long time. Nothing to do with odor, but at least as ingenious is the trick of sticking a panty liner, or in the best case, even a slightly larger sanitary napkin, to your fly swatter. Because once you've done the whole thing, as you can see here with me, you can use them to clean in places where you wouldn't otherwise be able to get to so easily. For example, somewhere behind cupboards or shelves where you can't easily reach with a vacuum cleaner, or even under these cupboards is a very good place to clean. You can even moisten the panty liner a little beforehand, because then you will of course get even more dust out, as it will stick to the panty liner really well. In my case, you can already see that there was a lot of dirt underneath here that I wouldn't have been able to get rid of without moving the whole thing, which may not always be possible on its own. But it's just as ingenious to stick a larger pad like this to a wiper. That's why I have this wiper, because if I take a bandage like this and stick it to the front here, it actually fits perfectly on the wiper. It sticks on really nicely and the wings allow us to glue the whole thing to the side. The next step is to apply a cleaner of your choice. I just use a glass cleaner like this, and then I take it to my windows. Thanks to the slip liner, we can get the window really nice and clean in combination with the cleaner, as the surface ensures that we can remove all the dirt. Thanks to the wiper, we don't have to use a ladder or anything like that. We can really get to all the spots on our window. Then wipe dry again, and as you can see here, everything is really nice and clean again. And it was pretty dirty before. And when you see this, you'll immediately stick a panty liner under your foot. All you need is some toothpaste. Now put a small amount of toothpaste in a container like this and add some baking soda. You can also get this from my store. The link can be found at the bottom of the video description. I now add about the same amount of baking soda to this amount of toothpaste. Dump the whole thing in here and then start stirring it well. You should end up with a paste like this, which you should now smear onto the bandage in the next step. Do this in such a way that the entire bandage is evenly smeared with it. You can now actually apply this to your feet. And this is what you need to do. Grab this bandage and place your foot on top of it. Make sure it is wrapped around your foot properly. And now you should put a sock over it so that it can work for at least 2 hours. Thanks to the combination of baking soda and toothpaste, your calluses will be softened and your feet will become really soft and supple again. When the time is up, you should take the whole thing off again, rinse again, and over time you will notice how your feet become softer and smoother. By the way, a little bonus trick is to take one of these panty liners and put some lavender oil on it. It can help you enormously, especially in your bedroom. You should now simply put this in your pillowcase. You can also put it somewhere at the end of your head, or for example under your sheets, or if you have a topper, a little under the topper. The important thing is that you can smell the lavender scent in your bedroom. Lavender really does help you to fall asleep much better and sleep through the night. And if you suffer from restless leg syndrome, it can even alleviate the symptoms. And if you would like to find out more about 5 incredible tricks with laundry pods that almost nobody knows, but really everyone should know, then watch the video you see on the screen now. Click directly on it.